I think it'll be a good conversation really early on, especially if you guys start dating. It's like, okay, I want to know, what are you comfortable with as far as intimacy or affection? The Bible teaches, like, it says not to be a stumbling block to your brother or sister. If you feel uncomfortable in a situation, you feel like you're about to do something that you don't want to do, that person, if they care about you, are going to respect that. I want you to feel comfortable with me. So if this makes you feel uncomfortable, we can do something different. I didn't want to kiss. I really was saying I didn't want to kiss until we get married.
When we first started dating, for the first month or two, we didn't kiss.
Right. And
but what would happen was one of these, like, here, I just have to demonstrate it. Okay, so we'd be sitting, you know, like this in like a public park or something, and we just get like this, and it's like, okay, anything but kiss, and it's just, you know, it is just like, okay, and he'd kiss me right here on the, after a while, it's the very corner of my lip, you know. And so we tried really hard. We put forth a fantastic effort
on the no
kissing part. We eventually did kiss, and it did hinder our pursuit of purity. Although we did not, like I said, we did not have sex, but it made it much more difficult for sure.
Yeah. It's okay to kiss. I think it's there has to be some sort of boundaries, because you don't want to be any, like, just, you know, having no sense of affections toward each other whatsoever. You know, we can't touch, I can't even hold your hand type thing, because it's natural and it's okay. It's just that you have to have boundaries. You don't need to beat yourself up if you do go, you know, cross the line. You gotta forgive yourself. You know, God's grace is sufficient, and just learn from it so that you can do better next time, and then help somebody else do better next time.
I will say we were probably fine until we started visiting each other's apartments.
That's true.
Because we spent, I know for beginning of our dating as well, I didn't really let him come over to my place, and I didn't go over his place. And if he came over, it was for a very quick second for us to like meet and leave. So I think honestly that was where it kind of got risky, because we would, just to keep ourselves from going to each other's homes. One of our first dates, we sat in the car to like 2 a.m. in the parking lot, 4 a.m. in the parking lot. And then our next date, we literally stayed in the car, I kid you not, till 8 a.m. the next morning. We probably would still be sitting there if had I not had a 9 o'clock appointment to go somewhere. But that was how hard we were trying to not go over to each other's house. We're like, we'd rather spend the night in the car talking.
In a random parking lot.
In a random parking lot, which is very dangerous. I don't recommend that necessarily.
Yeah, I didn't get no sleep that night.
Nah, neither did I. I have no doubt how you functioned the rest of the day. But
yeah, you were snoring.
I was snoring. I fell asleep?
Yes.
Oh.
You were sleeping on top of me.
Ew.
You were sleeping good. I was squished in an uncomfortable position.
I'm sorry.
All night. Just the passion that we had for each other was
I didn't anticipate that. Really strong. Yeah, I had never experienced that before. Really.
Like, it was almost immediately, as soon as we like, our first date, we were really like already pretty passionate for each other already, which was kind of scary, because I'm like, okay, I've seen this story before. I get really, you know, hyped up for a girl and end up bad. So I'm trying to restrain myself from getting too passionate. But yeah, it's just that passion always stayed consistent. Even to this day, we're very passionate for each other. We just love each other very much.
It wasn't even like
lustful.
Yeah, right. It wasn't a lustful passion. It was just like drawn to you.
Like
something.
I love you.
Yeah. I don't think I ever really truly been in love before until meeting you, actually. Yeah. So we were never gonna go all the way.
No, I don't think. No. We were never gonna go.
We were never fully tempted to have sex at all, because we were both not.
I didn't want to do that.
Nah.
And she didn't want to do that. And we really wanted to keep that, and we were basically, in a sense, we were trying to do something without doing all the
Yeah,
way.
maybe that's what it was. I think
And
we're trying to figure out what was the thing we could do.
How close can we get without actually doing it? And I think,
like I said, when we first started not kissing, you would kiss me like
right
here.
Right here at the edge. And I think we did that with our purity for a very, very long time. It always let me feeling bad because I'm like, I'm the leader in a sense, and I'm supposed to be the one strong enough to kind of, lead in this purity thing. And I kept,
we feel it to a certain degree. And I think what we did want, the second year, we were together for 2 years before we got married, and the second year I was living in New York.
Well, yeah, we were perfect there.
Yeah, that was very easy because we weren't together physically. So we would visit each other. We'd come visit each other. So whenever he would come visit me in New York, I would come visit him in Dallas. Of course, it was really hard to fight the passion then because we hadn't seen each other in 3 or 4 months. But that did help. Obviously, I know everyone wouldn't have the benefit of being in a long distance relationship in this regard.
Move away for a year.
Yeah, but we were not physically together for a year. That helped quite a bit. But
so no, we never were tempted to go all the way because that was we just
knew that was off limits.
It's the other stuff that we were kept being tempted to do because we felt like, oh, at least it's not sex.
Both of us were already on the same. We both have the same vision, so that makes it a lot easier. And we both genuinely want to please God in our individual lives. So I
think that's what really was the true motivation, is that we both wanted to be pure for God.
Right.
And that's like the true motivation behind us being pure. Is that ultimately we want to be pure for God.
If you do it for God, it's a lot easier, I think, to something about signing that purity pledge made me feel more like I was talking, it was something about that made me feel more accountable to God with that for some reason. And I think that then I felt like, okay, I don't really want to disappoint myself, Moses, or God.
It's going to take a team effort to keep you guys pure through your relationship. And if it leads to you guys getting married, you guys are going to be very, very appreciative of that. But if it doesn't lead to that, you're also going to be appreciative of that because you didn't cross that line to where now you guys have more baggage to go through than just the relationship just not working out.
Right.
So it's beneficial in both ways. Signing a purity pledge.
Signing a purity pledge really set some fantastic boundaries. I think there's something about signing a contract that just makes you...
And you have witnesses.
And witnesses that saw us sign it. And
we never broke it.
We did not.
Not one time.
And that really did feel very good because it was something we had been struggling to do our entire relationship.
And I was so happy that we did it prior to getting married because
it was a relief.
It's just we've been saying that we're trying to do this, and we never do it. I was getting tired of it. We got to stop. Again, all these things happen a little late, but for those who are just getting started in relationships,
sign a purity pledge.
Find somebody. I know you have somebody in your life that will be willing to witness a purity pledge. Frame it in both of y'all's apartments, and have those witnesses there and stick to it. And we're pretty faithful to keep our commitments. It's especially if it's something signed. I think something signed, it just changes your mind. It's like I signed this.
It's physical too. You can see it.
Yep.
It's not just a proclamation.
Now, if you just have a bad reputation of just not keeping your commitment, then maybe a purity pledge won't help you at all because you just have you just don't keep commitment.
But you can't break an actual contract. You can't. Is that breach a contract? Is that what that means?
Breach a contract. But if you have a history of breaking contracts, let's say you got
a lease
and you break that, and then you got a car lease, you broke that.
You don't come for people.
I'm not coming for people. I'm just saying if you have a history of that, maybe a purity pledge won't help. You don't really take it seriously.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying.
You just don't take it seriously.
Oh, man. All right, next question.
first, there is no such thing as bad sex.
I agree.
God created sex, so it's good. If you love the person, the sex is going to be good, because I think for especially us and just the society that we live in, it's just sex is over glorified, you know, and like broken down into like so many layers. Like, it's pretty simple. As long as you love the person, you listen and you want to please them, you're going to, you know, learn, and you're going to enjoy it. And I really truly believe that. I don't have to have sex with a bunch of women to know that. I just know that because first, I believe God created something that's good, it's pleasurable, you know, and I just love my wife, and I know that if I love her, and she loves me, then, and we listen to each other, we learn how to please each other. It was good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it was good, and yeah, it was. For me, it was a different experience because I was losing my virginity. So at first, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the hang of this one of these days. So it took a minute for me to kind of catch up. But I mean, yeah, it was. And honestly, even my first time, and without giving too much information, I guess, it felt like being two teenagers without the risk of your mom catching you. I guess, like, it kind of had the feeling of like, oh my God, like this is okay.
It did feel like, we actually do this now?
Yeah, we were legit like, okay, we signed a purity pledge.
I mean, like,
we've been struggling with this.
We're married. We've been saying no
yes.
for so long.
Yes.
Now we get the yes. I'm like,
we're kind of like,
really?
Real?
Like for real? Like, you're not gonna come after me?
We're not going. Right. We're not.
Like, for real? I'm not gonna feel ashamed.
We're in the hotel. Like, so you wanna?
I guess.
I mean, yeah. Come on.
My celibacy journey, I wish from the very beginning I was, I wish I made that declaration that I'm going to be a virgin until I'm married, you know, but no, I didn't have that type of influence around me to really make that declaration. I had another declaration that was saying, I am no longer a virgin. It was the declaration that every boy and every, everywhere I was getting any sort of male influence, it was that you're no longer a virgin. It's what you should be shooting for. And even when I became a Christian, like, you know, devoted Christian, started following Christ, I think I had sex with one person after that, which I wish I never felt on that level too, because I think at that time I was really desperate for someone to be with, and I went as far as she wanted to go. And when she was finished as far as our relationship, you know, she just left me there, which left me pretty hurt at the time. And to fall into that trap because I didn't have self-control really did some damage in my heart. I wish, you know, and it all taught me lessons, you know what I'm saying? But I think those are things that I wish I could have had self-control, self-awareness, and to avoid those type of traps.
Anything as a couple?
As a couple, I think just, you know, us, you know, I mean, I'm very happy we never had sex, you know, and that is what I am happy about. Things I wish we never have done is just the other stuff we did, you know, and stayed, you know, truly pure throughout of our relationship, and not just those last 3 months prior to us getting married. I think that's the only thing I wish we could have done. I wish we would have done from the very beginning. Just make that declaration.
Wish we had known about had that idea beforehand. I would say keep in mind your why. Keep in mind that you're not doing this just because God says it's wrong or the Bible says it's wrong. God doesn't say it's wrong anyway. I think your focus has to be right, and making sure you're doing it for the right reason. You're not abstaining just for the sake of torturing yourself.
Break! Don't break! You can beat the ice, girl, you can beat the ice. If you break, you only prove you can't live without sex. I can't! But y'all don't know, man. Y'all, y'all don't know, man.
You know, you're not abstaining just to deprive yourself. You know, it's just like the same thing with fasting. You don't fast just for the sake of like losing 30 pounds and you're emaciated and malnourished and no one, including God, is getting glory out of it. You fast for a very particular reason, in a very particular way. And it's strategic. You pray the time that you would eat or whatever you're fasting from. Like it's not just doing it for the heck of it. It's the same, I think, with this. It's like your purpose and your reason has to be bigger than yourself. I think with anything that God asks us to do is because he knows the result of it. We get mad by the consequences. It's like we touch the fire and we get mad that it burned us. I've heard the analogy of fire when it comes to sex, and it's like fire is good when it's in a fireplace, when it provides you with warmth. It's great with a stove. It can cook your food. But if you just set fire in the middle of your living room, you will not have a living room for much longer. And that is such a great depiction of sex. Marriage is built to handle sex. That's really all that it is. It's like, it's the true just fireplace for a fire, you know. And if it doesn't have, that was nice. Y'all felt that?
A little fireplace to have the fire.
Thank you.
Nice.
I didn't realize
Because
that.
anywhere you put it, it's going to cause damage.
Yeah. Hold on now. You felt that?
I felt that.
You felt that? Yeah. You struck your beard on that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was good.
All right.
Marriage is the fireplace to have the fire. Which is sex.
Yes.
It was worth it. Absolutely.
It was so worth it.
It felt good.
So worth it. I'm glad I crossed the finish line.
I am glad that I waited.
Me too.
I'm glad that I don't have a laundry list of women that I've been with, you know, because, you know.
What would your advice be to a person who does have a laundry list of people?
Forgive yourself and, you know, be celibate. You know, forgive yourself. God's grace is sufficient.
Yeah.
No matter where you at, you know, you may have just had sex last night. Forgive yourself today. Declare it and make it known to God and make it known to somebody else that you are making a decision right now, and it's not going to be easy, but you're making the decision that you're not going to continue on this path, because if you do, you're going to regretting more than you want to. Sooner that you can make that decision,
I don't think it's
the
ever
better.
too late, for real.
No, it's never
Even
too
if you
late.
already had sex, all that stuff, it's never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late. You can still find the joy of waiting.
Sure, God commends that anyway.
Absolutely. Yep.
And again, you're planting the seed. You're setting up.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for that type of
You're choosing to
experience of being.
plant the seed
Yeah.
of celibacy. God asks us to deny ourselves, our wants, and carry our cross. Denying ourselves isn't easy. We're carrying the cross to our death. That's what Jesus did. He was carrying the cross that was going to basically kill him. So we have to die on that cross. We're carrying this cross and we die to ourselves, to die to our desires. So we need to die. Every single day we need to die so that God's desires can actually come out of us instead of ours.